Hello, and welcome to Swing and a Crit Miss, a Dungeons and Dragons podcast where my friends and I play for our own enjoyment. We're not professionals, we're not amazing gamers, we just like playing and hope you'll enjoy our campaign as well. This content is intended for mature audiences, so for any of your younger folks out there, please be advised. And with that, welcome to Swing and a Crit Miss. Well, welcome back. It's been a while since we've done this, but where we last left our adventurers, you guys had just gotten back from the frozen north after dealing a deal with a long dead clan of people, and you came back and Ronald the Shield approached you and said one had come back. If that is not familiar to any of you, now's the time to say so. If there's any other information you'd like to add as well, this is also the time to do it, if you remember different things.
One of the witches came back, or the wizards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Ha, which one?
Not intentional, but I'll take it.
Witches.
The
Bunch of
the
witches.
the way it played back is that Ronald said one came back and then promptly whipped around to go and take care of the situation.
Following.
Yep.
All right. So as you make your way back to the building that encapsulates the bulwark, you make your way through there. Words. I haven't done this in a while. I'm sorry. So
you can edit it out in post.
Yeah, it's fine. I can edit out all the stupidness. But then we wouldn't have
We wouldn't
a
have
show.
no, exactly.
You get it? 'Cause oh, shit.
We gotta have something for the blooper reel. Come on.
That's true.
We're awful. That's the joke.
So you guys go to the building that houses the bulwark, and you find your way pushing past crowds of people out actually through this. Ronald's presence does make forward path, but there are citizens gathering around the bulwark. Apparently, word has been kind of getting around about some of the mysterious circumstances that have been happening across the Court of Mages and the bulwark. You hear whispers of a break-in at the Court of Mages. You hear whispers of essentially the things you've been investigating about people disappearing and things going on. Those of you with a high enough passive perception actually see like the guy you talked to who was the downstairs neighbor of one of the wizards you investigated, just saying like, yeah, they lived right above me and I got talked to by these weird people. And as you're walking past, this crowd is like amassing around them. Everyone's really wanting to know what the hell is going on because they know something now. As you make your way inside, you are greeted by the presence of several bulwark members who are all standing around, kind of just watching out the windows and making sure no one does anything stupid outside, just in case, because large crowd around the building is not necessarily normal. Ronald leads you downstairs, where you bulwark members would know is kind of where they have holding cells and things like that. And just investigation rooms and things like that, secure places. And as you get down, you notice there are a few figures gathered around a room, two of which are familiar. One is in blue and silver robes, the other is in red and gold. These are the mages. There is the old man and the tiefling woman there.
Well, I'm gonna turn around. No, I was somebody else. I was my old body.
Yep, you were a different face when you met them.
All right.
Do you remember what you are now?
I am. I'm Athena. I'm an orc woman.
Sexy woman.
Yeah.
Sexy orc strong. And a couple other members of the bulwark as well. There's the investigator that you talked to before, who's currently just kind of sitting and waiting. There's definitely a bit of tension in the room. No one's really discussing things now. It seems that they've been waiting for Ronald's presence to come back and sort of get things moving. But as you kind of get down into the main area where this is, there is a glass window that you can see into, and there is a, make sure I get this right, there is a man sitting there, an orcish man sitting down, really nervous looking, twiddling thumbs. There's no like bindings on him. He's not like handcuffed to the table or anything. He's just sitting there. He has one of those like blankets that you get if you like are in an accident for like shock and things that's kind of rested around him. Um, you notice he is not wearing any other clothing at this point besides a blanket, and there's just a gaunt look on his face of just pure horror, and he is just like shaking his knees, twiddling his thumb like a nervous wreck.
Is
As
this Dalton or Nathan?
That's a good question. Are you asking that?
I am.
As you ask this and see this, the man, the old wizard, the one in red and gold, turns and says, "It's about time that we had some help over this way," and kind of takes a glance towards all the members and sees all of them. Takes a small pause, looks back to Roland. "So, I believe we will be taking this suspect into our jurisdiction. The Bulwark has no need to investigate this any further. We will take care of things from this area. Now, if anything should happen, we will be sure to let you know." And Ronald approaches and says, "Since there was a further investigation into the matters of your break-in and the contents that were taken from the break-in, this has now been open to a Bulwark matter." And the investigator behind him, the woman you met before, just kind of gives, you see a slight smug grin on her face. And you do notice that in her like pouches and stuff, she is holding on to a familiar book that someone dropped off in her office. Was it her office or quarters, wherever it was, that she's holding on to probably tighter than she needs to, but it's almost like she's afraid someone's just going to reach out and take it from her at this point. And the old wizard in red goes, "You've already asked whatever questions. Clearly, something happened, the mind is broken, and this is beyond the reach of the Bulwark. We will have our best mind seers, soothsayers. We'll look into it and try and piece together this poor wretch's mind and figure out what happened to them." To which Ronald replies, "They will be kept in our custody until the end of the day, until we are certain that safety measures are properly taken." And you see just a gasp of frustration from the wizard in red. The one in silver and blue, the tiefling woman, has not spoken up, but you do see that she is pretty darn calm and cool as a cucumber compared to the wizard in red. But she is not saying anything. She's very much taking in all of the information, and especially you guys who are, coming onto the scene at this point. "This is Nathan," Ronald says. "Nathan appeared approximately 2 or 3 days ago. Since then, he's been under our custody and care, and we are keeping him until the rest of this day. On the next morning, he will be handed over to the Court of Mages for disciplinary action and possible understanding and reconstructing of his visage and mind."
Where was he found?
He was found back at his place of living.
Did you find him like this?
Yes.
Have you been able to get anything out of him since he's been back?
Well, not particularly. We've kept a little bit of a notated things, but it is nonsense. Any
Could we see the nonsense?
looks over to the investigator. She like takes out like a scroll essentially and kind of wheels it out, hands it to you. As you open it and look at it, it's um, sort of like a stenographer's typing quick hand stuff. Um, and basically, the gist of what is in this scroll and kind of writing down of what's been happening is they're asking him questions, and he is just kind of muttering to himself in many ways. Notably, you see the phrase "I'm safe" being repeated a lot, and "I'm home" being repeated a lot. But other than that, like some of the things are like, "Can you repeat what you just said?" And it's just more like mumbling, like they can't even hear what he's actually like saying.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody tried to help him with any magic or anything?
We've given him potions, we've given him some aid. It seems that there is just something wrong with his mind that requires some more precision than the bulwark can offer at this point. And he kind of looks over to the mages.
Mm-hmm.
Have they not left yet?
Nope, they're standing there and they're just like waiting. You get the sense that they are not wanting to leave if there is any information that they could still have about this situation.
When did they arrive? And I'll point to the big girl mages.
We've been here for 3 days since we got word that they were here, and apparently the bulwark has let the rest of the city know about all the businesses that have been happening around here. So we are watching this very closely.
I'll whisper to Ronald. Perhaps Nathan doesn't feel safe to speak his mind or say what happened because of, like motion toward the mages. Perhaps we could get some privacy.
He cannot see past this glass. It is illusory. And so he believes he is in a solid room at this point. So.
And why has he been held up for 3 days? And I'll look between the mages and Ronald.
It is our jurisdiction to hold on to suspects for a certain amount of time until we deem them a safe place for them to be and can release them into the world. So we have kept him, we've studied him. There appears to be no magical energies in which he is infested with, or seems like he is not going to be a danger to anyone, as well as the fact that he will be under the custody of the Court of Mages. So
Has anybody tried a restoration of some sort to see if anything?
We've done a couple things, but again, it seems beyond the purview of what we have here at the Bulwark at this moment.
Did he arrive at his dwelling in this state, including lack of clothing?
Yes. Any attempts to touch or calm or any kind of comfort that we've attempted to give him has been met with screaming and very unwilling to be interacted with.
So I'm assuming he hasn't eaten or drinking anything.
We have left food and water in there. Some of it has been picked at, but he's been given the opportunity to.
Any new markings, any scratches, anything that seems to have caused pain to his body, anything of notice?
None that we've noticed in our investigations. We had to sedate him and make him unconscious in order to investigate him, but we did not notice any strange markings that weren't there before.
Can I go in the room with
Are
him?
You may. You are still technically working with the bulwark. And he kind of looks over to the mages. And the mages just give a slight glance of disdain towards Ronald and towards all of you. If you feel like you can glean anything from him, feel free to do so.
I will go in.
Okay.
I'll just stop you real quick and whisper. If you're going to do what I think you're going to do, just make sure that you can't see it through the glass.
I'll join you in the room with him.
Perhaps one person alone would be a good idea for now.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I'll go in. I'll sit. How does he react when I walk in?
He does not react to the door. He's staring forward, not really staring. Yeah, he's staring mostly towards the ground, but every once in a while he kind of glances around the room. But he does not seem to react any differently to you coming in.
I'll sit like 10 feet away from him,
Sure.
kind of against the glass.
He kind of glances towards you a little bit, but then his eyes go back to kind of scanning around the room a little bit.
I'll take out my clockwork raven,
Okay.
and I want to wind that up and kind of have it flutter near him.
You see him flinch when it like goes towards him, and again he keeps a slight eye on it, but the second it like lands in front of him, he just stares at it for a second, and then goes back to kind of looking around the.
Would you wind that back to me, please? Fun, isn't it? Like wind it up.
Just shakes his head no.
Great to be home, isn't it?
Shakes his head yes.
You're not alone anymore. You're around fun and friends. And I'll kind of motion toward the toy.
I was never alone. And he just goes back.
But you are now. It must be nice to be within your own thoughts.
Just shaking his head no.
Are you not alone? In your head?
Just keeps shaking his head no. You're not really sure if that's in response to your question or if he's just kind of like nervously just shaking.
Do you know what happened to your friends? With Tatiana, Genevieve, Dalton?
Shakes his head, more clearly shaking his head no, saying he doesn't.
They weren't there with you? We want to make things better. Can you tell me of the surroundings wherever you were, so we can help?
I'm home. I'm safe. Mm-mm.
Did it look like what it looked like here at home? I'll describe like generic city description. What are you saying, Adrian?
I wanted to see if the wizards had any reaction to our newest friend knowing all the names of the group that was missing.
Give me
I'm
an
not su-
give me an insight check.
at some point, I would have gone up to Brennan and discreetly said that they reacted when he walked in. The first time he walked in.
10.
10. So you're looking specifically what the reaction is to Athena.
Mainly, are they suspicious of the knowledge that he just gave, the names?
Wouldn't the bulwark know who was the wizards that have left? Wouldn't it be kind
They
of
do, but that's what I'm trying to. Adrian, you're asking specifically about
Just
Athena knowing the names of the
if the
people.
mages, yes, if the
Mhm.
mages are suspicious of Athena.
Okay. With a 10, you're not entirely certain if they've given anything. They've definitely just been watching and I don't know quite the word to describe it, but they are impatiently watching. They want this done and over with at this point.
Are you happy you're here or at your home?
He takes a second to hesitate, but he does shake his head yes.
He's happier here than he is at home.
Oh, he
Like home being because they found him at his house.
yes, he does shake his head yes to that.
He's happier here.
Yes.
Why do you feel safer here? Because there are people around to protect you?
I'm safe. I'm home.
I'll whisper to the point where only he and I can hear. Would you feel safe if you went with the mages?
I'm gonna roll to see if he's clever enough to know what you're trying to do at this moment. We'll just do
What am
an
I trying to
insight
do?
check.
I'm not trying to do anything.
Well, just the idea that you're kind of like trying to be secretive about whether he wants to be with the mages or not.
Okay.
Rolls very poorly. He says, "No, no mages, no more magic," and he says that loud enough for everyone to hear.
So you would rather stay here and we can help you here. I'll say it louder.
No one can help. No one can help.
Is magic what did this to you?
No more magic. None.
What can I do to help you?
There's a glance up to you and like a just solid moment of eye contact.
I
Go
will look
ahead.
as genuine as humanly possible with my orcish lady appearance.
Go ahead and make I'll say either an insight or a perception check.
I'm proficient with neither of those, and they're the same. Oh, hell yeah. 20, dirty.
Which one do you want it to be?
Perception.
Perception with a dirty 20?
Yep.
In that moment of holding eye contact with you, you see in the back of his eye, like where his like pupils are and kind of where his iris is at, there is just a slight dark flash that you pick up from him maintaining eye contact, and then he turns his head away and does not answer your question. And that is a literal dark flash, not a metaphorical one. Like literally you see something black whoosh, across his eyes.
Almost like a streak of lightning, like across his eye.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, it seems like this citizen would be much safer staying here instead of with the mages. He seems pretty terrified to go with you.
Mage in Red speaks up. He is not in his right mind. We have the people and facilities to fix it.
Have you deemed that yourself? I mean, he seems of right mind. He's talking, and he's coherent.
You're calling that coherent and in his right mind.
I heard him say specific words. I witnessed it. He says no mages. And then I'll look at the bulwark leader.
Ronald just kind of, not necessarily defeated, but just kind of like, he's more annoyed with this process than anything. And says, The mages have jurisdiction. This is one of their own who has specifically begun in espionage and has lied to the ranks of the Court of Mages. They hold jurisdiction, and they are the ones in charge of what happens to him at this point in time.
And can they not do their experiments here, or what they need to do here?
The Mage in Red speaks up. We have ritual circles we need to set up that are already set up at the Court of Mages. They would take months of planning if we were to try and set them up here. We have mages who are ready and eager to begin fixing this poor fellow and work on his mind and see what we can do to help him.
Somebody insight check, please. I'm dying.
I was gonna. Can you define
me too.
fixing?
Roll insight checks if you wanna.
I'm not. I'm just straight up asking a question
Ooh.
to them, but they can roll.
Ooh.
Let's see insight checks first.
That is a 23.
Nice.
Another 10.
With a 23, he's not lying. He's not lying specifically about wanting to help and fix this person. But I'll leave the rest of the interpretation up to you with a 23.
Whether you have the ritual circles or not, that does not mean he needs to stay in your custody. He can always return back to the bulwark.
I'm still curious. What do you mean by fix him exactly?
We have mages who are very well versed in the psychic world of casting.
That doesn't necessarily answer the question.
And so they have very strong abilities in order to weave the mind back together when it is broken in certain cases of madness and hysteria.
Are you trying to fix it for him or fix it for yourself?
Look at the man. He's mad.
Sure. A madman can be fixed in many different ways, put back together in different visions, and may come out a different person at the end of it all.
Would it be possible to have some oversight during these proceedings? Have somebody present? Another way for us to make sure that he is receiving his wishes and he is kept safe?
Well, the crowd outside is enough for everyone to say that he will be kept safe. The whole damn city knows about this entire situation. If he just disappears, everyone's going to be asking about that.
Oh, we will.
Can you...
So is that a no, that nobody can sit in during these proceedings?
May I ask why these incompetent fools are allowed in the presence of this? They're the ones who lost the information anyways. And lost the thief that came in here.
We were asked to come with.
Believe me, I have no idea why I'm here, but since I'm here, I will ask questions.
This gets us nothing.
While that talk is happening, hearing the voices, I want to take advantage to
Okay.
have more subtle conversations with him.
Okay.
Were you following orders of the wizards, the mages, to leave, to teleport away, or was it your own volition?
He responds with his no mages. Not
I'll
quite
use
answering
wizards.
the question. No wizards, no mages. Same thing. But
Did
you do
go
not get
of your own will? Did you go because you wanted to go there, or were you taken?
No more magic. No more.
If you tell me, I can help take the magic away and make you better.
No. No one can help.
I'm a very powerful wizard. I can help if you just tell me what happened to you.
he looks at you again with fear this time rather than just a madness. And you see him like
If I bat
lean-
my eyelashes.
lean back a little bit in his chair away from you. No one can help me. No mages, no wizards.
I'll grab my raven and walk out.
Okay. As you grab the raven from the desk, he kind of flinches at you at this point and just very, very closely watches you leave and follows you the whole way. And as the conversation outside is kind of wrapping up, the wizard in red looks to you. Well, did you discover anything important? Or is it the same mess that they've been dealing with for the past 3 days?
Do they not hear me at all?
They could hear you, but there was a conversation going on, so they didn't hear the last parts that you were doing.
I found that he certainly doesn't want any of your treatment, whatever that may be.
We've already discussed this. You're beating a dead horse at this point.
How long was he gone for, like, out of character?
Specifically, Nathan, you never really got like specifics for each person. You just know that they've been missing for the past few months or
But
so.
like, it's months, not years.
Yeah,
Or
it has not been years for sure.
did you ever ask him how long he was gone, or how long he thought he was gone?
No,
the investigator speaks
they're
up.
asking me.
We asked him. He didn't say anything. Same things.
All right.
Out of curiosity, I mean, after these proceedings are done, do you think we could have a conversation with him?
Well, if you can find him somewhere on the street, he's going to be charged with negligence and espionage to the Court of Mages. He will no longer have a job, and he will be stripped of his titles once he is fixed. After that, we don't really care what happens to him.
Could you notify the Bulwark?
Of what? Him being out?
When all these proceedings are finished?
If we must. And he kind of looks to Ronald, who just slowly nods his head yes.
Well, at the very least, we have him for the rest of the day.
That you do. It seems that we will no longer be having any possible interactions with him now that the Goon Squad has arrived.
I kind of like that name. Anybody else like that name?
We're a bunch of gooners. What?
Oh no, I forgot that. Oh god, I forgot that had connotations.
Is this a critical role situation where we name ourselves midway through the season?
We're not gooners, I swear.
Not be Goon Squad.
Not Goon Squad. That one has things attached to it. That's probably not great.
I'm unaware.
This squad of morons.
Mm.
Even better.
And he quickly exits, leaving you all alone in the area. And the tiefling as well follows suit.
As soon as they leave, I'm going to look at him. I'm like, did he just call us Goonies? Because that's what I feel like he called us.
Oh, that movie has a whole new meaning too, huh?
Oh god, you're right. Oh, man.
Don't think about that. Don't think about that.
Yeah. Alrighty. So you guys are alone in the room with Ronald, and the investigator.
Was anything else found that the mages were not privy to?
The investigator speaks up. Nothing. Everything we had to share just due to the nature of this case.
May I? I'll point to her book. The one that we dropped off.
By all means, it ended up mysteriously in my quarters, and she kind of looks at Odavius and Brennan.
I look away.
Give her a slight wink.
I'll take it into the room. And I'll
Okay.
just hold it out, because he'll probably look at me when I enter. So I'm just going to hold the book and see his reaction.
He looks at it. There doesn't seem to be any preliminary reaction to it at this point.
This is your book, Nathan. You wrote this.
Was this his book?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is the book we found in his desk.
Okay.
Do you remember writing this?
Do you open it in front of him?
Sure, I'll kind of, not close, but I'll kind of flip through some pages.
Just shakes his head no.
Seeing the gibberish that he wrote down, does his handwriting match? Could I gather that Nathan wrote this book and wrote the gibberish?
You don't have any. The gibberish was written down by investigator who was interviewed.
Oh, I
Not
thought
him
they gave him a
specifically.
pen and he like.
No. It was like a court records kind of thing. Someone else was in
Okay.
the room.
He just
writing it
doesn't
down.
recognize it.
Yeah, he does not recognize it, or at least at the distance you're at, he does not.
Get a little closer.
Kind of looks it over. Shakes his head no.
Never mind.
DM,
Hmm?
how long were we gone after the heist comparative to when he
It was
returned?
a while because we like journeyed up and then we journeyed out, which was like a couple weeks, right?
It's been a couple weeks. Let me pull up the map.
I think it's been like a month. If I had to
Right
guess.
back. Be right back.
Whoop, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Yeah, so it has been. It's been about like 2 months at this point, going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Seems about right.
I'm gonna pull Brennan aside.
Okay.
Do you think there's any chance that when we got hit, and I'll speak quietly so nobody else can hear us, do you think there's any chance that we caused him to return when we grabbed the book? And when and maybe the Court of Mages is covering something up?
To be honest, I didn't consider it. It's an interesting theory, but
That's why I'm so scared of them taking him. I think they're just going to erase this whole thing and he's going to be a completely different person. Because there's no way they just strip him of his title, release him from his job, and he has any recollection of what happened.
I'm not sure. That's a potential option. Something I would have never considered. But so it'll be up to you to look into that if you really want to. It seems like this person has been away for a very long time.
Yeah. Part of me thinks that he was taken somewhere where time moves differently.
But would the mages have been aware of that? I know that they were aware of the project that they were doing, but it doesn't.
Right.
The little that we could glean, it doesn't seem like they really know where he's been.
Right. I'll go up to our bulwark leader. And just ask, what do we do now? What happens now?
We keep him in his custody, in our custody, until dawn at this point, in which afterwards he will be taken into the custody of mages, in which they can interview and work on him until he is better.
Athena, was there anything that you noticed that you didn't want to say in front of the mages?
Yes. I'll whisper to the group, peeking at the door to see if there's some sneaky little mage. There was a flash of dark energy across one of his eyes. I think he's been infected with some sort of dark magic.
That we did not notice. We have reported everything and worked collaboratively with the mages. It is hard to keep secrets from them.
I fear that taking this wizard into their custody will silence him. There's clearly some kind of plot going on with the court.
I have the same hesitancy.
We do not believe that the court has been doing anything to harm the structure of the kingdom, and so we have not investigated them. We have gone as far as our jurisdiction has allowed, and that is where we stop.
If you would allow me, at the very least, I would like to stay, keeping an eye on on Nathan until we do have to hand them off.
He has been able to sleep in these quarters, so if you would like to watch over him, that is neither here nor there. But if, and you see him just kind of give like a very deep, annoyed sigh, if anything beyond the jurisdiction of the bulwark should happen, and he looks over at all of you, then we are not able to protect or bear responsibility for the results or consequences of those actions. Understood?
Understood.
Yes, sir.
And you see him just turn around, his tail kind of just lightly picking up after him and walking away. The investigator kind
Can
of
I get a plate of food?
after.
I want to take in and make sure he gets some food.
I agree. I'm hungry.
No, I want to take some in for Nathan and
I know.
feed him.
But if I agree. I'm hungry. What do they got around here?
Well, there is the barracks, but
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab some food and
I'm going
take
with.
it into him.
All right. Everyone going to the barracks or the mess hall.
I am gonna stay. I don't want to lose sight of him for a second now that I'm able to.
As I'm walking out, do you want some brought back for you too? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Primrose, what are you doing?
I'll stay too.
Okay. All right. We'll follow. Yeah, I can't remember names today. Odavius and Oren, and their journey to the mess hall. You guys go up. You have to exit thinking in my brain about the map of this. You do not have to exit the building, but you are noticing as you go up the stairs and kind of look out the main entrance, the crowd has been slowly dispersing, but there are a few people who are staying around just to see if there's any like big announcements happening. But
At a glance, do any of them look suspicious?
Roll an insight check, I guess.
17.
17. No one's openly like gonna cause anything just at your first glance. It seems like they're just more curious than anything. So
yeah.
So you guys go around, go to the mess hall, get like, a couple plates of different food, all the goodies of slop and things that are served in a mess hall. As you're wandering around, you're hearing whispers of, hey, did you hear about the things happening around here? And then people just discussing about theories. You're hearing some people say, I don't know why we have to work with the Court of Mages anyways. It's not like they've ever helped us out with anything. And some other people who are saying, I don't know why we're still holding on to this guy. The Court of Mages is well in their rights to take them away. And so there's a lot of differing opinions on the rights and regulations that you're facing and going through. So this situation seems, from a bureaucratic standpoint, a little bit complicated in terms of the laws of the land. But you get your slop and move around and get back down to the basement, or the holding room in the basement. Brennan and Primrose, can you roll perception checks for me?
Sure thing.
10. Why is it all 10s?
16.
16. Primrose, you notice in the room, which is lit up by torchlight. I didn't really describe the room itself. It's very bland, but there's like 4 torch sconces that are helping the room be lit up. You notice for maybe half a second, the torches just go darker and then come back up.
I'll instantly try and get a read on Nathan.
You look at him. Roll a insight check if you want for this.
Sure. This will be a miracle. 18. Holy shit.
Even with the negatives, that's impressive.
Yeah.
He has not moved at all from what you can tell. He's still kind of looking down towards his hands, looking and shaking and just nervously moving, shifting in his seat.
Brennan, did you notice that?
What? Notice what?
The lights went dim for a second. Normally it's kind of whatever, but in this situation...
No.
Doesn't seem that Nathan has anything to do with it, at least. But I don't know what else it could be.
I'll step into the room.
Okay. You step into the room. Seems normal, at least as far as what you've been observing so far. There doesn't seem to be, like, anyone in the room now, beyond Nathan.
Nathan, do you feel safe?
Just shakes his head no.
Why don't you feel safe? Magic?
Trying to think of his response to this. He doesn't necessarily respond to your question, but he does just kind of start muttering a little bit. And he does mutter to himself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm home, I'm home. And it in a more self-soothing kind of way.
I want to detect use my divine sense. Do I sense any celestial fiend or undead in this room?
You do not.
I am going to sit down next to Nathan, say nothing, but just have the music box playing.
Doesn't seem to change much of his situation or his mood. You do see him like eventually kind of like keep beat with the music box with these shaking, but it's like a very slight shake in beat keeping.
Did you have a family, Nathan?
Shakes his head no.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Eventually, the other two, Orin and Oda, come back with food for everyone and arrive.
Nom 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 nom.
I'm going to take a plate in And I'll say, Nathan, long time no see.
Just kind of looks at you, looks back down.
Are you hungry?
No response.
And take some food on a fork or whatever, right in front of his face. So you gotta eat, man. Gotta have your strength.
Doesn't look at it, doesn't reach for it, just staring down at the ground.
Okay. I'll leave a plate in front of him and then go eat my plate.
Okay.
As we're circled up outside of the room where Nathan's at, kind of look around and be like, how much are we trying to push this guy's buttons and figure out exactly what's wrong with him? Now, no judgment is meant in that statement, just if we want to try slightly more extreme things. I've had ideas.
Unfortunately, even if we wanted to, I don't think we're in any position to be able to at this moment.
I'm not even necessarily talking about letting him go or anything. I'll say that part a little bit quieter. Just like the best way I can put it is tests that we could try.
What test?
I don't know, just see how he reacts to physical touch. See how he might react to ethereal surroundings and circumstances, weird things happening. See how he reacts to magic. He keeps saying no mages. I don't even know why we're doing this necessarily, though. Even if we figure out what's wrong, how can we help him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything we can do for him. Even if we try, we have a day, barely a day, before they're going to take him, whether we want them to or not.
I guess the only thing I can think of is to prevent any future cases like this happening, if we can figure it out. Figure out what's wrong so we can heal the next poor person who may come along with something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to do anything rash.
Is everyone out of the room at this point?
I'm still in the room.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even have the first idea of what we could do, if anything. I mean, if you want to do those little tests, you can, but...
There's no objections. I may just.
We try reading the book to him.
That was on the list. Do we all want to go in? I don't know if crowding him is necessarily smart.
Just one.
I'll stay out.
I can take a turn. I will shoot a message via the message cantrip to Brennan and be like, "I'm gonna try something. Let me take a turn in the room."
Yeah. I'm going to the other room.
All right.
So I'll take the book, Nathan's book,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll walk in gently and softly close the door behind me, holding the book. How are you doing? It's been a rogues gallery today, I know.
Normal response of just nervously shaking.
And then I'll just open the book. Do you want me to read to you?
No response from him. Just doing his thing.
It's your own work. I feel like I'll be able to tell, but just let me know if you want me to stop. And then I'll start from the beginning and just start reading aloud like the preface and like here are the people I'm working with, here are the ideas we have, here's the beginning of
Yeah,
our
so
work.
if you remember way back when.
It's all like puzzle pieces.
It is puzzle pieces because they split up the work in certain ways.
Yeah.
Nathan's manuscript specifically was about the energy consumption that you had used. So basically, the idea of how much magical energy do I need to throw something so far using teleportation? Kind of the general gist of what you got from it. And so you're reading through about these very esoteric knowledges and theories that they have about, how much energy do we need to transport an object? How much energy do we need to transport a person? How much energy do we need to transport, a large thing, a ship or something like that? The whole time you're reading, it's kind of like just reading a kindergartner a textbook.
Okay.
There's nothing, there's no recognition of any kind that he's giving you in any way. He doesn't seem to react positively or negatively to it.
With that, it's time to try something a bit more extreme, I guess. So, for my feat, on level up, I took telekinesis. And it says, as a bonus action, you can try and telekinetically shove one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Can that creature be myself?
No, because it's the same wording as other spells where you can't target yourself, but you can target other things you can see.
Okay. I guess it does move toward or away from me.
Yeah.
I don't want to push him. That would be a bad idea.
Do it.
No, I don't want to. But I do have the Mage Hand cantrip. And I can cast it without verbal or somatic, and it's invisible.
Is it invisible?
For telekinesis, it's invisible.
Oh, for telekinesis. Okay, yes.
Yes. Because of the telekinetic thing, it is invisible.
Okay.
And that's also why I can cast it without verbal or somatic.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna... There's a couple different things I could try. I'm just gonna have the hand take the book and float it out of my hands and see if he reacts at all.
Are you like floating it towards him?
Not... I mean, I want to float it in a way where he sees what's happening, but not necessarily towards him.
He looks at you, and there's that same little spark of fear that happened when Oren talked about being a wizard that could help him. Okay. And he's just looking very intently at you at this point.
So you don't like magic, huh? What else don't you like?
Wizards. Mages.
Anything to do with magic? Did you know you used to be a wizard once? So why the change of heart?
Shakes his head no, doesn't say anything.
Do you remember everything that happened? Do you remember?
Shakes his head yes.
Do you remember the project and the people you worked with it on? Are they like you? Did they go where you went?
Does not seem to know.
Okay.
Shrugs his shoulders.
And you don't want people touching you. Is there a reason? I understand, just...
No wizards. No mages. No magic.
All right. I'll leave the room with the book at this point.
Okay. Anyone else want to try something?
Yeah. From the window, I want to cast thaumaturgy.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I want the flames to flicker just a little bit.
Interesting. Everyone roll perception checks for this.
9.
Mm-hmm.
19.
19.
Also 9, 19.
23.
When you dim the torches, there's suddenly a point with like, it's a very subtle point where you dim the torches, and then a half second longer than you intend, the torches stay dimmed. And Trundle, with that 23, you, on that slight darkness, you see Nathan standing in front of the window, smiling and looking out towards you. And then when the lights turn back, in a flash, he's back to sitting on the chair.
Fuck yeah.
Did anybody else see that?
See what?
The rest of you saw the dimming of the lights. No one else saw Nathan.
No.
That dim.
I think there's more to Nathan than the meets the eye.
I've had. What happened?
When the lights dimmed, they dimmed longer than I had planned for, and I saw Nathan standing at the window smiling.
And there was no movement. He didn't get up and move. It was sitting, standing, back to sitting.
Straight out of a horror movie. I fucking love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I think
I was wondering, it was maybe like our friend Orin here, where the body isn't necessarily
Connected.
Can I
Nathan.
Hey, that's my thing.
Hey,
can I do it again and everybody watch the window?
sure. You do it again. I'll say, since it's specifically called out, those of you with like decent perception scores, like above like an 11 or 12,
Oh.
you do see this same flash of Nathan smiling, looking out the window, and then back on the chair. We'll say, Primrose, with you definitely see like a little bit more than a flicker of the lights. Like there's a sudden movement and then it's gone, and you're like,
Okay.
wait, there was something there. But
It's
you
weird.
do not see like him.
Especially since I like
there.
noticed it
Yeah.
when it first happened. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I now want to do Divine Sense in our room.
Nothing.
What is this?
How intense are we gonna take these tests now?
I think
I
you
wonder-
should go in and grab his shoulder.
I wonder what happened. What triggered the illusion? Was it the use of magic, or was it dimming of the light?
I don't know.
Well,
Does somebody want to go stand there while I do
Brennan,
that?
While you were gone,
I'm
Orin
gonna
and
pause
Octavia.
really quick because I'm getting food here in a sec. But I
Okay.
will let you deliberate and choose what you're thinking, because I'll
Okay.
have food here in a second. So
All right,
talk.
take your
the
take
recording's
your headphones
gonna be
off.
paused, and
Take
I'll
your
let
headphones
you
off.
guys. let
Take your
you guys
headphones
talk
off.
about it.
Take him off. I straight up punch him in the face. I just deck him. While you were gone, Orin and Odavius, the lights flickered on their own.
Really?
I remember you
Interesting.
saying that. That's why
Yeah.
it was in there first time.
I can not necessarily grab him, but I can make it seem like he's getting grabbed. I'll take out the book and have it fly around again. This is I can use that, not the
I
book
think
part.
we need to determine what triggered him. So I think we tried to turn the lights off for a moment.
Who here has dark vision?
I do.
I do not.
Orcs do, right?
Tieflings do.
Tieflings do.
Orcs have dark
Yeah.
vision.
I can also make lights. Maybe we can try and time something where you turn the lights completely off and then I make light immediately after.
Yeah, just in case.
We can try something.
I can dim the lights for up to a minute.
I have dancing lights that I can create and have them bounce about.
I think we turn them off.
What I'm saying is, because he seems to be able to travel through darkness or something like that.
I agree. Like, have it at the ready, but like, I don't think we dim them. I think we shut it off, and then you.
I think we shut them off.
2 seconds later, you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe even.
I don't think I can shut them off with thaumaturgy though.
I think
One
you
of
can.
It just says dim. It doesn't say turn them off, and it's only for a minute.
Mm.
I think it would be best if I went to go get, at the very least, our investigator, Maya. If anything is going to happen, at least somebody else needs to be aware of it, so we do not get complete blame.
We also need a red shirt.
At least show her. Least show her the dark when we flicker the lights thing.
We can certainly try.
Okay.
Do we get the leader too? I feel like we have to at this point.
He might be too busy. Maya should be enough, and she will be able to convince him.
Worst case scenario, I don't think this will happen, but I always prepare for the worst. If something were to happen to Maya when we do more extreme tests, do we want 2 bodies in here? So we don't get blamed for that. Like I said, I don't think this will happen, but plan for worst case scenarios.
This is definitely something above our pay grade.
100%.
Thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate it. You got rice in there too. Thanks.
Yeah. So at least get Maya, maybe one more. Try the dimming the light thing again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm coming back.
All right. I'm running out of the building. It's on fire. They're all dead behind me.
I punched him like 5 times over. I think I killed him. I rolled like 3 nat 20s while you were gone.
Oh shit!
So,
you win the game. Congrats.
All right.
All right. So, what's the plan?
I am going to quickly leave and go get the investigator Maya.
Okay. At this point, we'll probably say it's around like 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
While Brennan is running to go get Maya as well, I meant to bring this up while he was here, but depending on how extreme you want to get Orin, I don't know. I do not want to ask you to do that, but that is an interesting thought. Potentially seeing if you could take over Nathan's body.
I can only do that on dead creatures.
Oh, it's only dead. That's correct.
And I wouldn't gain any sort of knowledge of his life if he were to die or perish. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be very much use here.
Okay. Sometimes I forget how it works. It's a little weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, man. Being dead is weird.
It's weird.
All right. You're able to find Maya. She's in one of the offices, still like poring over some notes and stuff. Yes, Brennan. What can I help you with?
Something has been noticed. I need you to come with me back to see Nathan.
Oh, I'll go get Ronald as well.
Okay.
Goes off. And do you go back down automatically? Or do you wait for Ronald?
I will wait.
Okay. While this is going to take a few minutes of time, what are you guys in the holding cells doing?
I'm just waiting. Yeah, we're just waiting. I'm monitoring him, also looking to see if the lights flicker like they had said. But then just kind of, preparing for whatever happens.
Okay. A few minutes later, Ronald comes in with Maya to Brennan, and then you guys go over to the holding cells, and you guys all see Ronald and Maya.
Watch right here, and I will outline where they need to look.
The reflection.
And boom.
There's this very, Maya gives a gasp, and Ronald even just, drops his jaw.
It is not being detected by divine sense. I'm sure you guys have already checked that. but I can also confirm that while we see this, it's not apparently celestial, fiend, or undead.
Also, before we did this testing on our own with the lights flickering, they kind of dimmed, presumably by themselves, maybe via Nathan, once while you were gone.
We want to try and turn off the lights completely in the room.
Taking in the information and just the shock of everything. Maya, you've never seen, and Maya just shakes her head no. What purpose do you think you'll gain by turning off the lights?
See just how intense and
Is it,
realized this is.
we want to figure out if it's detected, if this presence is reacting to the magic of the lights dimming, or if it's the lights themselves and lack thereof that we can see it.
And maybe by with the lights off, we'll see or speak to whatever truly Nathan is.
Are you planning on staying in the room when this happens?
At least one individual.
Mm-hmm. So, Prim, you said you have light,
I
right?
have dancing lights I can cast.
I wonder if we have light at the doorway on this side that he can't see, while one of us goes in and just puts out the light in there. That way, if they try to escape through the door, then there's light. If they're traveling, trying to.
I don't hate the idea, but at this point, given what is all happening, I wouldn't be surprised if he could see us right now.
That's also true.
Okay.
Depends on how much you want to risk. We could also try and time it where it's dark for maybe a second and then the lights go back on.
We won't do anything without your instructions, sir. While you're here. What? Who said that?
Do I have any volunteers who wants to stay inside with Nathan and douse the torches?
I'll do it.
All right. Brennan, you're with me at the door.
As
Everyone
you
else,
walk in,
observe.
As you walk in, Odavius, I'll just give you a pat on the shoulder, and like very silently inspire you, bardically.
Okay. There they are.
I will also. What did I want to do? I wanted to do something, but I'm going to guide myself before I walk in as well.
I am going to cast Detect Magic when the door opens and while I'm at the door.
Detect magic lasts for a while, right?
10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. So, Odavius, just to give you an idea of what you're doing, each of the sconces, it's a very, like, old-fashioned way of dousing torches. They have, like, a brass cap that they just slam down.
Oh, sorry.
So,
One more thing.
Yes.
I'm going to pull out the music box, and when you're ready, hit the button to record.
Okay. So it only records 6 seconds of sound.
Has to be
When
fast
the
on
lights come on.
finger.
Yeah.
Okay.
See.
First torch sconce down. Second. Third. Before the fourth goes down, is there anything else people want to do before that happens?
Before the TPK, is there anything else you guys want to do?
Before Odavius dies.
Did we discuss the dancing lights thing and me spraying it immediately?
I think
Odavius has light. The spell light, correct?
I do have light, yes.
Is that your plan?
I mean, I don't know.
I
No, it's not-
We talked about this.
I think we do
If we
6 seconds. 6 seconds once the light go off. You cast Dancing Light, or you cast Light. Both of you do it in case one of you is not able to do it.
having light go off on both ends, if needed. Give the darkness 6 seconds and hit the button when you knock the sconce. Give it 6 seconds if you don't hear anything. Cast light.
Okay.
I'll prepare dancing lights, I guess.
Quick save.
Quick save.
Quick save.
Save's coming.
There we go. Perfect. All right.
So when I put the last sconce out, I'll keep my hand on the sconce, prepared to do light. I'll hit the button. Lights out. What's happening?
Wait, so you have the music box then?
He has
Yes.
the music box.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood that. All right.
As
Okay.
soon as I put the light out, I press the button.
Okay. Light out. Press the button. It takes a second for your eyes to adjust into the darkness. I'll describe a couple things first.
Fuck.
Brennan and Ronald are by the door waiting to burst in, so you cannot see into the room at this point.
Correct.
You're just kind of listening and waiting for some sort of indication to break in.
Tech magic. It goes through 3 feet of wood. I'm not sure on what the door situation
It would reach
is.
through this.
Okay.
You get heavy conjuration magic
Mm.
that spills into the room. You get a sense of direction as well, right?
Sense the presence of magic within 30 feet. You can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic. Learn what the magic is. I guess not. I sense it, so I guess there would be a direction.
I'll say you're casting it. It's you using your action to do that, if we're speaking in terms of combat rounds.
Sure.
Specifically, this conjuration magic is coming from the very back corner where Odavius has turned off the last sconce. Those of you watching the window, which is Orin and Primrose and Maya as well, once the light goes out, again, it takes your eyes a second to adjust to the darkness in the room. You still have light surrounding you, but inside the room, as soon as that light goes out and your eyes can see into the room, Nathan is standing directly behind Odavius, like inches away from him, behind him. Odavius, you're looking at Nathan as you turn the sconce off and you press the button on the recorder. And when you turn off that sconce, Nathan is no longer in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a whisper behind you. And it says, "I have secrets to show you."
Must slowly turn.
You turn around and, like, inches away, like right up to your nose, is Nathan, smiling and looking.
What secrets?
You haven't said the magic word yet.
Show me.
And then you see a... How do I want to describe this? You see a flash of movement as Nathan reaches up and holds on to the sconce and opens it, and it turns on fire, and light emanates to the room again, and Nathan is sitting back on the chair.
Ooh.
Odavius, that was 4.5 seconds. God damn it!
I didn't
I
get.
don't know if you
We got to
noticed,
do
but my
another
hand
take.
isn't on the sconce, mother trucker.
I guess at that moment I'll
Yeah, you see
tell.
light suddenly enter through like the bottom of the door, open, and Nathan's just
Yep.
sitting on the floor looking down. And I'm guessing with pants now full, Odavius in the corner.
What
I'm
happened? There was
shaking a little bit.
conjuration magic. What happened?
Is there a play button on this fucking thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I hit play.
You hear that same, "I have secrets to show you," and that's where it cuts off. Actually, I'll say it. You get the whole snippet of conversation.
Okay.
We'll give you enough. So, "I have secrets to show you." What secrets? You haven't said the magic word yet.
Is it police?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I said,
Please?
show me, and then he turned the light back on.
Mhm.
What is Ronald's reaction?
Ronald was not able to observe what was going on. He entered the room and just is looking around.
Who entered his reaction to the recording?
Okay. Confusion. He's looking at that, and you see he's thinking through all of like. There's a couple stages of his thinking that you notice. The first stage is, what the fuck is going on here? The second stage is, how do I react in front of my like subordinates, because I need to be the one in charge here. Third one
Right.
is, oh shit, this is going to be a lot of things for me to write about and try and discuss with the mages. Fourth thought, fuck, I have to deal with the mages again because they need to know about this. So there's just like a span of like figuring out how he should react to this, as well as just a matter of like, this is going to be a lot of paperwork to deal with.
It's gonna be a long night.
Yep.
Do you think there's a clue in the book as to
I
what
was
this
about to
magic word
say.
is?
While that was
Can we-
happening, I'm gonna peruse through the book. I think it
Yeah,
might
can we
just be as simple
investigate
and
the
stupid
book?
as it being please, but
Right.
I will.
I mean, we can try it again, but
Oh,
I might need to change my pants first.
I'll
Give
sift
me
through.
an investigation check, Mac, as you're going through things.
I will help.
Sure.
I'll say, yeah, I was gonna say Maya's gonna like immediately as you pull out the book, she's immediately going to start flipping through it with you. So roll with advantage.
Okay. Yeah, that one's cocked.
I
Also
will.
cocked. Let me not roll on that.
I will say to Roland, sir, we cannot let him out of. We can't let him out of here right now. We can't let him walk through the streets.
Absolutely not. I don't know what it's gonna take.
19.
19. We'll get to you in a second. I don't know what it's gonna take, but the mages are going to have to find a way to do their seances here. We can't even cover him up with a sheet if it's darkness and send him over. With a 19.
Do we get them over here to show this? Show them this?
We'll get there.
Let me go to Primrose first. With a 19, nothing's immediately popping out to you, and same with Maya. She's like looking through like keyword, like specific repetitions of a word, or like some sort of place or location that will be a trigger of some kind. But to both of you, nothing's really sticking out.
It does talk about energy. Does it talk about like using light or fire or that kind of energy and like darkness in relation to that?
The energy that's used is more of like harnessing magical energy for the purpose of this. It's not like a elemental energy. It's like
that's what I thought.
Magic, conjuration magic. You need energy to send things places. How much do we need for this thing?
Cool.
As you say, Odavius, bringing the mages in and having them see this, Ronald responds, I don't think I want to do that again. I don't know if this thing will grow in power every time we do that. We've had
But it seems like the only time he reacts is when the lights are off And he says he has secrets to share, but he's not going to give them to us with light.
We might not want to know the secrets.
That
My
is
own-
my mind.
My only concern is that seemingly he has been doing this on his own as well.
We have been keeping him in a jail cell, but the guards there have not noticed this behavior.
But in small flickers and small moments, unless your guards are attent 24/7, every second of every minute of every day, and no offense, no one can do that.
Correct.
These half seconds build over the course of days, and what, he's been here a week?
3 days.
That's still a lot of time.
Correct. I assume you're all out of the room at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronald
Mhm.
was not have said anything while he's in that room.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going back and forth between Roland and Ronald.
I know,
don't
I
why.
do the same thing. Now, the good news is that the mages won't get their way, and we will be keeping him here from now on. The bad news is I'm not sure how to properly care for Nathan as a being of consciousness.
You said he sleeps? He goes unconscious,
We've
Does
put
he
him
sleep?
unconscious for
Yes.
procedures, and
but he doesn't sleep on his own?
guards have seen him nodding off in the corner of his cells, but not sure if he's actually sleeping or not. They don't look
That-
that closely.
Good. The only other thing, well, there's many things I'd love to push buttons about, but like that physical connection doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
If he's awake or if he's unconscious, we dim the lights. Does that image, that phantom, still come?
You're saying if we're touching him when the lights go out, will his body still be there?
That's if he's unconscious. Maybe that's why he hates physical touch. Maybe it's because he's not there.
But people have touched him. You've
And
dosed him.
and there's no physical body in the chair where he was when the lights went out.
Mm-hmm.
The other theory is if he's asleep or unconscious, does the body matter at all to this phantom? If he's unconscious, does the phantom still exist as normal? And I'm like, I don't mean this, Lauren. Sorry.
Dina. That's Dina.
That was all out.
Out of
Character.
character.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's what I say.
But like, what does that connection there at all matter? There's lots of things and buttons you could push. It's just how far are you willing to go?
I'm curious what the mage's reaction to at least the flickering of the light and seeing him standing at the window would be. Along with our recording, as well as, Brennan's detect magic.
Maya speaks up and talks to Roland or Ronald. Shit. Now I'm doing it. Fuck.
I don't remember anymore. Hold on. I gotta go back
It's
to my
Ronald.
room.
It's Ronald.
Ronald? Okay.
Yeah, it is. Maya speaks up and speaks to Ronald. I mean, we don't necessarily have to show the mages the trick, but we could show them the recording and bring them here to listen to it. Whether they'd be obnoxious enough to believe us or think that we're making up lies in order to keep him here would be.
It sounds
another
like
thing.
him, right? The recording sounds like him.
It does not sound like Nathan.
Doesn't sound like Nathan. Okay.
It is a very hoarse whisper, and anything you've heard from Nathan, it's a much like deeper, gravelly voice compared to what Nathan is doing.
I almost feel like they're not going to believe it until we show them the flicker and him standing at the window, if he does that again.
Well, from what people have told me, he wasn't standing at the window when we turned the entire lights off. He went to you.
He was, yes, but I'm saying if now that I feel like he's standing at the window listening to us right now.
We could put the mages in the room and let them experience it for themselves. Maya speaks
that's
up.
true.
I feel like
I like that idea.
Don't tempt me, Maya.
I love that.
Ronald looks over and
Just
just stares and just like, you see that look of, I already have enough paperwork to do now.
I
Don't add
want
any
to
more
see the
paperwork.
tiefling's reaction. I really want to see the tiefling's reaction.
We have to do this.
Cool prank, bro.
Also, they have failed to tell us their names. What are their names?
You finally ask. The Ronald describes the old man is Jarrod, Jarrod, and the woman, the tiefling's name, is Elise.
Oh, J-A-R. Okay, yeah. Jarrod, right?
Jarrod.
Okay.
However you want to say it.
He went to Jared.
Not that Jarrod.
Damn.
Sorry. Ronald looks. I fear we must. And with a very big sigh of trepidation, and just the most clenched through his teeth thing he can say, I fear we must have the mages come and observe the phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
We can
It's the
glean
only way
a
we'll
lot
have
off of their reactions.
True. It's the only way we'll continue to keep this person, this thing, here.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we do not like it, if the wizards are truly wanting to protect the city, as we hope that they do want to,
This will be the big test.
we will have to work together because this is a potential city to nationwide threat.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are potentially 3 more things out there like this.
Maya, go get the mages. She gives a little salute, walks away.
What is our final plan? Do we show them the recording, see what they say, or do we explain exactly what we did? How are we approaching this?
Show them what we did.
I'm of the mind that we dim the lights from outside the room and let them see what
Okay.
happens.
Okay.
That's the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, we will share the message. We need to ask them if they know if there would be any password, any magical.
Well, we need to get through. I think, if we're going to dim the lights, to first show them, then explain our experiment inside, then bring the message out. Because they're going to say, well, how did you get the message? Right away. If we just show them the message. Right. So I think we have to say, okay, first you need to see this. Boom, light, flicker. Okay. Then we explain, here's what happened. Here's what we did. And this is what we caught. And then play the message.
Important to remember in all this and to tell them is that it also happened on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just outside interference. That we cannot show them, but
out of game, I think I might have accidentally in my head done the light flickering.
Yeah, I figured I would have told you at some point, so it doesn't.
So I don't know how we want to approach that, but yeah.
At some point when we were eating, I was planning on mentioning it anyway. So
okay, so
it wasn't something I was going to keep a secret.
So then we'll say, they noticed the light flickering, so we flickered the lights, like we just showed you. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that before we.
Yeah.
If we do decide to go further, and dim all or close off all the lights again, we would want to try to have somebody touching Nathan.
If that's possible.
If it's possible.
I mean, we could do.
We'll see what the mages say to our first part, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
After a few minutes of discussion, the mages come through. Gerard and Elise walk through, go down the stairs. Gerard speaks up. I do hope that you have good reason for interrupting my dinner. What do
There's
you want?
something you need to see. And then I'll bring him up to the window. Look here. And then I'll flicker the lights.
You
I'm
Trying to
looking
think-
straight
try-
at them.
yeah, trying to
Gauge the
describe
reaction.
describe without like being bad at descriptions and giving away like the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm.
You turn off the lights. When the face pops up again, Jared like jumps back and just goes, "What the fuck?" And
I'll bring the lights back up right away.
goes up. Elise is a little bit more calm and connected. Calm and whatever the phrase is. Collected. And looks forward and stares. And when the face pops up for that half second, there's a slight move backwards that you could that she does, but she doesn't like jump wildly. She moves backwards, and there's a very studious look on her face.
Curiosity.
Curiosity, yeah.
Mhm.
There's a little pursing of the lips where she's like musing over what exactly she just saw.
Mhm.
After we discovered this, whatever it is, we did our own experiment with permission of Sir Ronald, and we shut off all the lights. Our cleric Odavius was in the room who dimmed them, and when they went completely off, we heard this.
And then you play the thing for them. Jared looks from the recording and then looks back at Nathan and then kind of just stares at the window. And Elise has not taken her eyes off the window. She's kind of just hearing things that you're doing. And she is like looking at her while this is all going on. She is very intently just staring down at Nathan and very much just equations across her head trying to figure out what's going on.
Detect magic was cast when we did this. Conjuration. Centered on that back sconce, in that back corner.
My best guess of why is because that was the last light that went out. Probably originates from the darkness, wherever that is.
That is our theory.
Jared takes a second, thinks through things. There's no creatures or anything associated with conjuration magic that I can recall.
This is a new threat. Emphasis on threat.
And I suppose the Bulwark is going to want to hold on to this until it's properly dealt with.
Do you want this thing walking down the streets? Whether in shackles or not?
Elise speaks up for the first time that you've heard her say anything. And without looking, still staring at Nathan, she says, "Did it touch you?"
That was the running theory.
No, it didn't touch me. It stood behind me. It spoke to me, and then it reached up and turned the sconce back on.
With
Took the cap
permission.
off, and there was more light. So I never got touched, but he was like inches from me.
With permission, may I try something?
Well, I want to see what their reaction, hear what they have to say first.
Elise just says, curious.
Did you feel the breath?
Did I feel breath?
Did you feel air coming from the mouth when it spoke?
You're really making me think through this scenario.
Hey, you did this to yourself. I'm sorry.
You got me there. I would say you don't remember specifically if you felt a breath because you had a distinct filling up of your pants that you had to worry about. Your adrenaline spiked, and so everything else just went like, nope, no thanks. And so you're not exactly sure at this point. What's your plan? Elise speaks up. And then turns around to face you, Primrose.
Well, I think the running theory is maybe Nathan here has no physical form or a reduced one, which is why he's so resistant to physical touch. My thought was just giving him a little bit of a shove from a distance. See if it works.
Would you do that with the lights on or off?
We can try both.
We could compound our ideas. My thought was put Nathan into manacles, loud, jangly metal manacles, to see if sound can be heard when the lights go off of him moving.
I'll look to Ronald as I say this. I think the problem with that was, were you ever able to manage to get manacles on him in the first place? And it seems he was very resistant to touch.
We never needed to.
So I don't know if it would even be possible.
Mm-hmm. So how many times did people try to touch him?
Every once in a while, offer him comfort, touch his hand. He was unconscious when we were doing medical examinations, so...
And there was physical, you were able to touch him?
Correct.
Okay.
Lights off, I would think, then, and I'll turn back to Elise. They've already touched him, lights on.
So one person, two people in the room. Everybody else can potentially observe. One person undoes the sconce, the last sconce, and another person is attempting to touch Nathan, and we will also attempt to get manacles on him.
Is there...
the lights off.
I'll turn to the mages. Is there any possible magical word that he was referring to that you might know about?
Jared speaks up. Well, there's a lot of different ways of sealing away knowledge. You have arcane locks for physical things. You have passwords for certain doors or things you need to keep secret. Without having knowledge of where exactly he went, it is difficult to say what could ascertain a secret or what could be the password for him. Elise speaks up at this point. We could always just open his mind a little bit. It would be messy without a ritual circle, but possible. We could figure out the password from delving into what he's doing or thinking about.
I'm going to try pushing other buttons first, I think. That one seems a bit extreme when we're first figuring out how this exactly works.
He trusts barely trusts us enough to be in the same room as him. Unfortunately, you two would most likely cause a lot cause a lot of stress. You know, he would very well know that of you being mages.
I'd
and
still
magic.
like to be in the room, Elise says.
Very well. I'd like to hold him.
I was about to like look at Orin.
Mm-hmm.
My turn, and I'll stroll in.
Yeah, I can also turn the sconces off from a distance. I'm sure you could as well, but
I will go in. I'd like to see things for myself and observe with my own eyes. And she walks into the room.
As soon as they walk in, I'm gonna go.
Octavia,
Oh, David, we need a third.
we need you.
No, I'm at the window.
Am I turning off sconce, or is she gonna do it?
I can do it.
You see her like flick. She's able to do it magically. She's just going to flick, and she's just staring.
All right, I'm gonna have my hand on his shoulder.
Are we ready for the observation?
I'll be ready to try and shove.
Okay. I will not be in the room, but I am going to cast my Channel Divinity Abjure of Planar. Abjure the Extra Planar.
Okay.
Everybody in the room, including Nathan, the person who I believe is Nathan, to have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
Okay.
And Orin,
Not
I
mimic.
will also inspire you as you go into the room.
That D6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a guide.
A guidance for Orin too.
Mm-hmm.
The big guidance? The D4
Stack it up.
checks? The saving throws too?
I mean,
Yep,
it's
advantage
a
on saving
cantrip.
throws.
It's a cantrip, so I can use it however many
With
times I
advantage?
want.
No, guidance is ability checks, and it's a D4.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that's saving throws. I forget what it is though.
Okay. All right, I got it.
Resistance.
That one.
I don't remember. All right then, Nathan. And she just flicks one. You are a mystery. Flicks the next one. And I sure would like to figure that out. Flicks the third one. Now, let's see some secrets. And she flicks the fourth one. Are you going, Orin, are you going to like tighten around him as soon as the light goes out? Or are you just
I want a firm grip.
firm grip?
Not
Okay.
not necessarily keeping them in place like I will literally hold you here, but like
Okay.
a firm grip so if they're going to get up, it would really take some movement.
Okay. You feel the firm grip stay there. And you all see as the light goes out, Nathan is now standing on the chair, or standing on the table. Orin, you still feel like you have something in your hand.
Do I see Demon Nathan?
You
On
see
the table?
Nathan, yeah, on the table. You don't see anything in your hand, but you are very certain that you're holding on to something. And Elise looks up. Huh. And you see her point, and you see these purple tendrils just out of her fingers. And
I'm gonna try and shove Nathan in this moment, Demon Nathan, if it's possible. Because I was
for what?
no, I have the
with your
telekinetic
mage
shove.
hand, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Telekinetic shove. Okay.
What
That was-
purpose are you trying to shove him for?
The whole thing was that I was trying to see if this Demon Nathan had a physical form that I could just shove.
Okay, I see. You're aiming towards the Demon Nathan?
Yes.
Okay.
Demon Nathan,
Standing
I'm
on the
trying to
table.
shove him.
Your telekinesis, your shoving, does not hit anything.
Cool. That is good information to have.
The Demon Nathan is going to make an intelligence saving throw.
Is it with advantage because of Brennan's thing?
That is true. It is. Doesn't help a whole lot. You see in a blink of an eye, these purple tendrils just expand from Elise's fingers and land right in the center of Demon Nathan's forehead. And they stay there for a little bit, and a few seconds go by. And
Can I physically move this form? Because I know I have something. Can I move it around?
Or does it just seem like a chunk of wall?
Yeah, like I can't
movable.
Or can I like kind of move this invisible thing that I have?
You have us invested. This is good.
I
We
know,
are
I didn't
asking
think this far ahead
questions.
with this. I will say that you cannot move it. Like, you try, like, if you're shoving someone's shoulder, it feels like someone is, like, stiff, like, paralyzed, and you are not able to, like, get, like, if you wanted to, maybe you could, like, try and, like, pick it up, but that would be a check for you to make if you want to make that.
Oh, I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
I have the bardic inspiration.
Okay, I'll say this will be an athletics check, and
Ooh,
describe. Do you want to like just shake, or do you want to like pull him
I want
out?
to physically move it to where, if the way that Oren thinks is that Nathan's still here,
Mhm.
I want to move Nathan so then when the lights come back on, has Nathan moved to the spot that I moved him to, or does he revert back to the original position that he was
Okay.
in?
Are you trying to just like pick him up and place him in
Yeah,
another spot?
I'm just gonna and put
Okay,
him like
so you're not gonna
3
like
feet away.
push or shove. You're picking
No,
up.
I just want to move him.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead, roll athletics. We'll see what you roll. Oh no, that's not a good sign.
Nat 1.
There aren't enough inspirations, boys.
Oh boy, Nat 1. You tried picking up.
It.
Yeah, you tried shoving, but he is there. Whatever he is at this point, whatever form is Nathan that you were holding on to, is stuck in there. But you do notice, after a few seconds of Elise shooting these purple beams into the forehead of this demonic entity, Demon Nathan, you hear a scream from Elise. The tendrils break, and she drops to the ground and kneels down.
I will do another divine sense when
I'm
I
gonna-
can see him up. Does
I'm gonna throw
anything
dance-
ping?
Nothing pings.
Okay.
I'm
I
throwing
wanna
dancing lights
clarify.
up.
I want to clarify: is she unconscious, or is she just like and like kind of falls to the ground?
You're not sure because you're in the darkness at this point. Mac, what were you saying?
I'm throwing up dancing lights in
Okay.
the room.
In the room, whoom, and everything's back. And Elise is kneeling on the ground. She's breathing and conscious. Nathan has not moved. Has not moved from his position. But you notice there is blood dripping from his nose, and there is blood dripping from Elise's nose.
Does Nathan react to a hand on his shoulder suddenly?
It takes a second, and then he just like smacks your hand and are you
No.
letting go?
No, I want to use my inspiration. I'm not letting go.
Give me another athletics check as Nathan just begins screaming, "No, no, get off me!" and is trying to get you to stop touching him.
I'm adding everything. 24, bitch.
24.
Ooh.
He is screaming, but at this moment, he's currently not able to move your arm from him.
I'm kidding. I'll let go.
And the second you do, he just stares at you and just intently looking at you and then looking at Elise, who is...
I'll go over to Elise and try to like help her up.
She kind of... You help her up, and then she kind of like shoves you away a little bit. Like, I got this. I'm fine now. But she's still breathing very deeply.
What did you
And-
do?
Ronald, should we let her leave that room?
She's making her way whether you would like it or not. So if you're going to decide that, better be quick.
I'm asking Ronald.
He goes up and just presses the door against the door. His full dragonborn body is just holding the door.
Uh-oh,
at this
Orin's
point.
in there too.
What did you see?
She tries the door, looks towards where the window would be.
Damned, I think it does that.
I don't think it's wise to discuss it in the presence of this thing.
Insight check.
Go
Is
ahead.
she trying to get out of the room for more than to just get out of the room?
Go ahead, roll insight.
17.
For the first time that you've seen any emotion on Elise's face, there is fear. She seems frightened about what she saw, and she is looking towards Nathan and wants to get away from him.
Is Nathan shaking still?
Yes. He's
Does
back
Nathan
to
look
his...
changed?
Besides the blood dripping down his nose, no.
I'm going to stare at her eyeballs. Do I see any dancing?
Make a perception check.
I should have waited for your inspiration.
It landed on the in-between where my dice sit and where I roll dice. 18.
18? You know what? Hey, if you want it, I'll let you keep it. You do not see any flashes of darkness in her eyes. Now,
Okay,
let me out of here, as she looks towards where the window would be.
Okay. I'll give a nod to Ronald. We're okay.
Opens the door. She huffs past Ronald and moves in.
So, what was it?
Everybody out of the room.
Door.
Yeah, I want to leave.
I think they went to the moon.
I'm sorry, the moon?
And I think what they found there was... at least for Nathan, was not good.
Obviously. Can you elaborate?
I only saw so much.
Time to keep information to yourself is not now.
I didn't see much, but I observed and saw within Nathan's eye on his trip. I could see our world below and wasteland surrounding, and these shadows moving around. The last thing I saw was Nathan running and a shadow chasing him.
Do you see anybody else that could be these others that are missing?
No. Nathan was alone. And there's something I've forgotten. Something that was said that my memory won't let me remember.
Insight check.
Go for it.
I have to when
Go
she
for
says that. 18.
She is telling the truth. There like when she talks about it, it is very much like you see her eyes darting back and forth like when someone's really trying hard to remember something, but nothing's coming out. You also notice she is thrilled by this. Like, as serious as she's being, her curiosity and her like ability to figure out and try and figure out what this thing is and what happened, she is like not showing it, but you can tell she is excited about this new thing.
It is not my place to say. I am but a lowly soldier. But Nathan cannot leave this room, meaning we need to get whatever protection, any thought to keep that thing inside there and not move.
I think
And
I will agree with you.
we need to do that now. I'm worried about if it's from the moon. Does it gain any power when the moon comes up?
You see Elise point towards the door, and you see her just cast a little thing, and you hear a click sound of a lock. That's one thing, at least. Ronald?
I think we definitely need a round the clock guard.
Ronald speaks up. I agree. At least I feel like you need to be under observation for a bit as well. And Jared speaks up. You think you're going to keep one of the top mages who understands what's going on locked up in a room? And Elise just like puts a hand on his face. I'm more than happy to stay in a spot where I can watch this. Call it my research. And she begins, she takes out a scroll out of a random pocket and a quill and just begins writing down a bunch of different, you guys can see ingredients and like things she needs for spell casting and stuff like that, as she's just writing this down.
Do we take first watches, or do you have somebody else in mind?
Oh, I have many people. Elise speaks up. I have many people in mind right now. But if you would like a bulwark representation, I suppose you need to find one then for that. Ronald pats Maya on the back. We have one who's able to take the watch here. Jared, after being shoved away, I don't like any of this. None of this sounds particularly great for anyone. You know, things would go a lot smoother if, someone hadn't broken in and escaped with some of these things. And he looks towards all of you.
Whatever you might be insinuating, this was already going to happen, whether people knew about it or not. In all retrospect, you're lucky that we found this when we did.
There's no such thing as luck, sir.
Fate,
Just
if you must.
coincidence and correlation.
I'm going to put a hand on Brennan to try and calm him down.
You know, these dancing lights can only do so much. Does someone want to put the torches actually back on?
Oh, that's a little late right now. Oh, no.
I've been like in my head thinking
Yeah.
I'm recasting it every time.
You see Gerard just reach over, click his fingers, and the torches go with light.
Only so much a lowly bard like me can do. Then I'll snap my fingers and the lights will go
Lowly
away.
is correct. Now, I'm going to go get some mages to watch over this, and hopefully we can get some things figured out. However, this will be a joint effort, and the Court of Mages will have all the information you have, and he looked towards the book that Maya is holding. And we will share any information we found out with you as well. Now, Elise, you do what we want. I need to gather some things. And he walks off into the distance. I lost my head.
If Elise will allow, I will give her however many points of lay on hands it is to
6.
heal her nose. 6? Okay.
Mm-hmm. She just kind of wipes away the blood. Huh. Thank you. And you see her roll up the scroll that she's been writing on. All right. Tightens it. You see her write a glyph with like her fingers, and then presses it, and the scroll disappears.
Do we know what time it is at this point?
At this point, it's probably about 8 o'clock.
Ronald, do we have extra space for our compatriots to stay with us this evening?
I think we can manage some beds, particularly if there's going to be watch held here. Go.
I think
you are dismissed.
you know. Right. Thank you.
All right.
Shall we bed down then, or did anybody want to do anything before we bed down?
Are we just bedding down in the room with
Elise? Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to the barracks.
Oh, I thought they said they were bringing beds.
No, they said they'll have a watch going, so you guys can go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have a watch going, and they'll find us or find our compatriots some beds to stay here with us instead of us having to go find somewhere else.
We just got back from our journey. I'm exhausted. I'm good to just get to bed if you are.
Yep.
Okay.
Barracks.
All right. You guys all settle in for a little bit restless night of sleep.
small point of like I'd like to add this just for flavor, I guess. Primrose will like lay in bed for like half an hour, unable to sleep. How far is it from the barracks to like the outside of the bulwark?
About 5 minutes walk.
I'm gonna take a walk outside the bulwark.
Okay. Anything in particular you're doing? Just walking.
I'd like to find an empty space, if possible.
Okay. Yeah, you find it's, whatever time of night you kind of settle in it. It's pretty darn empty around this area.
I'll disrobe a little bit to like just take off the armor, take off all the heavy stuff, and then I'm just gonna like start some sort of dance, doing something. Practicing with that new like scythe whip I have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and incorporate my invisible mage hand into it now, but all of it's like non-productive practice, realistically.
Gotcha.
To the point where whether you roll for it or just like I'll leave the decision to you. She might not get like any sleep at all.
Okay.
Or if it's restless, it's very restless.
We'll say you still get the rest, but it'll be very restless sleep since you are, yeah, we'll say for the sake of flavor, you still get the rest eventually, but
okay,
you kind of work yourself to the point of exhaustion.
I'm out there for a couple hours and I might pass out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Odavius and Orin, as you kind of toss and turn, trying to sleep through the events of the day, you drift off into some strange slumbers. It's sort of those slumbers where you sleep, but then you like dream, but you're still awake in the dream, and so it's not quite reality. So you feel like you're still lying in bed, but you drift off to sleep, and then you wake up and you're still in bed again. One of those moments where you drift off into that sleep, you see a shadow standing at your bedside, the both of you, leaning down, and there's no face to it, but it leans down right into your ear, and it says, "Free me. Unearth my secrets." And then you wake up and you're in bed again with no shadows around you.
Do we both wake up at the same time?
I'll say yes.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
did you
'cause-
say on Earth? Or
On Earth. On
UN?
Earth. UN.
Okay.
Yeah, not on Earth. On Earth. A schwa, not an O vowel.
Because I'm gonna like jerk awake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are
yeah,
we
yeah.
sleeping near each other?
I'd
all
say
four
you're
of us?
pretty close. Yeah.
Well, three of us. Because
Mm-hmm.
Did you just hear that?
You're what?
were you there too? No, Brennan's. You're asleep, right? It's just us.
Brendan,
I mean,
you're still asleep, I would say,
Okay, that's fine.
unless they wake you up and involve you.
I wasn't sure if they're set in jolt and how loud they were being when they were talking.
Free me and unearth my secrets.
Did we just have a shared dream?
I always knew there was something between us, Odavius. I like put a hand like onto his hand that's like resting on the bed. How can you resist this orc woman body?
What in the world just happened?
Seems we might have been more affected by the visit than we thought.
Do
Or
we
the encounter.
tell somebody, or do we try and go back to sleep?
Perhaps in the morning, the mages will probably have an idea.
Okay.
I bet Elise is having the same dream, actually. Perhaps we should visit. I'm gonna
Her,
get up
like
and
right
start
now?
going to where Elise was.
You
You
get up
don't
and
know
go?
where Elise was.
I walked from where she was to here.
Yeah,
retrace my
she's
steps.
He
staying
stayed.
downstairs.
Oh, she's staying downstairs. That's right.
Mhm.
Duh. Okay. I'll go with you.
I'll say once they get up, Brennan, you kind of wake up at the noise. Excuse me, at the noise of people moving around and see them leaving. You
We're
also
going on an adventure.
God
Go back
damn
to
it.
sleep. Go
you
back to
also
sleep.
all notice that
Shut
Primrose
up.
is not amongst you.
She's probably dead.
Prim?
Onward.
Tell me.
We'll
Alright.
explain as we're walking down.
Yeah, as you walk, you kind of get the lowdown of their things.
It's a 2-for-1 Big Mac. This time only McDonald's. And we're like, we gotta.
We gotta go, man.
The McRib.
That's funny.
They got McDonald's sauce.
The Szechuan sauce.
Hashtag not sponsored by McDonald's, but
If
would
only.
accept one McDonald's if you're out there.
Don't
They're-
try to
they're
get
everywhere.
McDonald's into sponsoring us. Stop it. I hate it when
is
streamers do that.
McDonald's is listening to the stream right now.
We
Yes,
know you're
absolutely.
watching.
Oh God. You guys go down into the holding cells, and you notice there are a few bulwark guards posted outside the holding cells at this point, and they let you pass, knowing who you are. You go down the stairs. There's a few mages, and they seem in a very quick time, in a few hours, they seem to have made a sort of glyph surrounding the holding cell. So it is just like one big ritual circle all around this room, observation room, that they have made and scribed out with magical implements. You see 3 mages who are kind of sitting surrounding areas, and you see that Elise is sitting in a specific spot of the glyph and just holding a hand sign for magical purpose, and is just concentrating, eyes closed, looking at and performing whatever ritual she's doing.
Elise.
One of the mages speaks up. It would be best not to interrupt her right now.
At the very least, it doesn't look like she slept since.
I don't think she has.
When can we talk to her?
Depends. There's a
What
little bit
what
of
is going on here?
well, we're currently working on sealing off this room from magical forces so that nothing can get in or out. I believe Magister Elise is working on looking into some of the thoughts or possible inner workings of whatever thing is in there. Her specialty is usually along those veins, but currently the focus is sealing right now.
When she has completed her work, could you let her know that we were looking for her, please? And it's important.
Yes, I will. It may not be a while. These sealing things, particularly the one that Magister Elise ordered for us, is quite heavy. So it may be a while. It may not be until the next afternoon that we can get to you.
But what
Okay,
you're telling
fine.
us is the sealing has not been completed yet,
They're
No.
working on it. We need to go and let them do their thing.
meaning that you both saw something before it was fully sealed. If it gets sealed, hopefully that should be the end of the dreams. And just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna look into each of their eyes to see if I see anything.
Make a perception. Are you looking for emotions, or are you looking for the dark flash?
Dark flash.
Okay, perception.
Bitch. 11.
11. You don't see anything.
Okay.
I will also say that the lights are still up in the room, and they're still going in at a steady pace. They have also put like orbs of light into the room so that they last longer than the torches would.
There's nothing else we can do for now. Let's get some more rest.
All right. You go back, get some rest, sleep, recover any hit points or anything that you lost. And it comes to the next morning. Is there anything you'd like to do in the morning?
At this point, I imagine Primrose is still gone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll find Primrose.
All right. You find her off kind of sort of in the what's the name for it? The garden-y area of
Courtyard.
courtyard. Thank you.
Specifically, if possible, I would have liked to have left the bulwark. That was kind of my intent.
Yeah. So you kind of go
Yeah.
off into more of like the town square courtyard area, beyond of the city itself, not just of the bulwark.
Yeah.
And you see her. I'd imagine at some point you would have just found a bench to sleep on.
Or like it's like the slouching sit up against a tree if one's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. So you find her against a tree, just kind of resting. You can tell like there are dark bags under her eyes. She did not sleep well at all. But yeah, you do find her eventually.
Yeah, I'll approach.
Okay. Primrose, you
I'm-
wake up. Oda, right there.
Well,
You
good
okay?
morning. Oh, am I okay? Sure. I think. I realize that leaving like that probably wasn't necessarily the most comforting decision for you three.
Yeah,
But
you
I-
had us scared a little bit, especially with what happened overnight.
Yeah, but I needed space from it all.
Okay. And then I'll
Huh.
explain to her about the dream, the
Mhm.
shared dream. And yeah.
Well,
Next time,
I-
just give us a warning.
all right. It's only fair. I'll kind of
Okay,
like
I'll pick up her armor and carry it.
yeah, and I'll like
back.
use the walking stick to kind of pick myself up.
I'll offer an arm if you need help.
I'm good, and then I'll just start walking.
Okay. After finding Primrose, what are you guys doing?
And we'll go back to the bulwark and just I don't foresee anything else we're gonna do at this moment. Do we just wait to hear from Elise?
Oda, I'll say as we're walking back, you notice hesitancy when, like, Primrose is very hesitant to re-enter the bulwark, but she does.
I'll place my hand on your shoulder. Like, don't worry, we got your back. Okay, it'll be okay. We'll figure this out.
She nods.
All right. If you're just gonna wait until you get a message from Elise, we'll fast forward to that point.
Yeah.
Eventually, after some time, you kind of get your meals, breakfast in the morning. You see people going about their duties, and there is still some crowds gathered around the bulwark of people like wanting to know information. At some point throughout the morning, you see Ronald go out and give sort of a official decree of what's happening at the bulwark to kind of disperse the crowd. You probably hear him do that or observe him do that. He talks about how mages have gone missing. People know about this already. One came back from where they went. There's been possible allegations of treasonous behavior and improper use of magic. But he doesn't mention anything about whatever is happening with Nathan. He leaves that part out specifically. And he also mentions if there's anyone harboring one of these mages that they're looking for, and he kind of lists off the names of Tatiana, Genevieve, and Dalton, that they need to come forward with any information they have on this at this point.
Does anybody shift who's in the crowd?
Yeah, I want to be looking
Make
for
an
that as
insight
well.
check, we'll say.
Ugh.
Mod 20.
Mod 20?
I was a 9.
Okay. With the mod 20, you don't see anyone shifting. It's hard to see through the crowd, like specifically anyone doing anything. The most thing you see is kind of disappointment that people are just like, ah, man, the rumors and the juicy stories out there. Well, guess we got to find something else to gossip about. And they slowly kind of disperse away from the area.
Okay.
A few more hours go by, you have lunch, and then it goes into the afternoon. And you guys end up sitting around somewhere, and a letter appears in front of you, and it just unfurls. And it says, "Meet me downstairs, Elise." And then it shoop away.
Okay, going downstairs.
Okay. As you return downstairs, you notice a change of guard has been happening quite often. You've noticed this throughout the day as well, that around the holding cells, there's been a change of guard about every hour or so, just moving back and forth between bulwark, and you've even seen mages kind of starting to enter through the bulwark and be kept there as a quick way of having them there without needing to go across anywhere. You go down into the holding cells, and Elise is sitting on a bench that has a very simple blanket and very simple pillow. And you can tell that she slept on this area. You can tell, similar to Primrose, that she's just exhausted. What sleep she might have gotten throughout the day after the sealing spell finished is not great. But she sees you and brushes herself off. She's no longer in a robe. She's in a lot more common clothing. That seems, kind of sweat stained. And she herself seems like she's had an exhausting, like grueling day of hard work. And she kind of dusts herself off, stands up. Ah, good. My summons reached the right people. Kind of look around. The glyph of that they made from the night before is still there, but now there are there's a mage on each outside of the holding cell, sitting in a spot and doing a magical ritual that they're just maintaining. This should keep anything that's possible within this area. We have a passive seal working, but we also have, and she points to the mages, active sealings happening throughout the time that we're switching out every so often. I don't know what's in there. And I know a lot of things. You four may have just made history in some way, shape, or form since the cataclysm of observing something new popping out. We've had demons, we've had elementals, we've had all sorts of things burst forth from the ground after the cataclysm. But that thing is not real. It is not anything that has been observable by the truth. I have never seen anything like that, and quite frankly, I don't think anyone except for Nathan has seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I tried prying a little bit into just Nathan's mind, and it is fractured, even on the surface level. It's like trying to walk through a hall of mirrors, and all the mirrors have been shattered on the floor. I don't think there's anything that you four can do for Nathan at this point.
Okay. Whatever has attached itself to Nathan, or whatever's happening, it visited myself and my friend here, and I'll point upward, in a dream last night, and then I will recount the dream.
I was wondering if that would happen.
Did it happen to you?
No.
After you sealed it, you didn't have any dreams as such.
I did not dream of anything, but then again, I did not sleep for very long. Whatever this thing is, your observation of it being conjuration-based is very astute. I'd be curious if it can bounce around or teleport anywhere it wants, if it has observed something. However, I think it is sealed away. Any thoughts of teleportation by all these things is non-existent. But should you have another dream, that's something that you should notify us about immediately.
Okay. It is worth noting that it only happened to the two who were in the room.
That's
Our
what
friends that were
assumed.
outside of the room did not have anything, to my knowledge at least.
That's what I gathered. You see her look towards the mages and back at you. I'm taking these four and getting a dissertation from their observations. Can you four maintain this without me? And the other mages just kind of all agree and nod. Great. And you see her just draw a line in the air, and an arcane line follows her finger, and then she pushes on it, and a door, invisible, opens into a living space. Come with me. And she walks into it.
Well, shit.
Readily
Right.
follow after her.
Yep.
Metagame, if this is what I think it is, oh boy, we do not want to get on her bad side.
Very true.
Interesting. I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm curious.
Well, I'm either thinking Lehman's tiny hut or the magnificent mansion.
Well, Lehman's tiny hut is just a dome.
And she opened.
She opened a door.
So more either mansion-like, or she teleported us. Where else?
You see her walk through, and there's this very lavish room set before you. It is the entrance to a mansion. And she watches as all of you fall in and closes it. And you see her just kind of look at her clothing for a second and just kind of, you see her like pull on it. And then what seems like she's just going to pull off her clothes. She just pulls, and then the robe that she wears just pulls on, kind of like she's wearing like a tearaway dress or something like that. Falls down to her feet. You all seem like the type that can get things done.
We like to push buttons.
Big red shiny buttons.
And you also seem like the ones, like certain people who have, at least some of you, no allegiances in this matter.
However could you tell?
She kind of looks up at the two Bulwark members and just kind of eyes them up and down, and you can feel like she is trying to stare daggers and just get a very strong sense of where your morality and where your ideals lie.
I puff out my chest a little bit.
If whatever you're about to ask is for the betterment of Talstadt, then we are with you. Protection of Talstadt.
It kind of just takes time looking at all of you. Now, you have lied to Jared, but you can't lie for me. Whoever you are in the orc body.
Keep
I'm
cutting
sorry.
out.
Yeah, you're.
Oh, sorry,
you're,
sorry. Whoever is inside the orc body. I know that you are a thief.
Whatever are you talking about?
Though your body changes, your mind stays the same. And I am very good at reading minds. That being said, someone needs to tell Gellin about this. Someone needs to go across the faction lines and let the lords over there at Gellin know what's happening. Because if I know anything about Gellin, they're doing experiments far more dangerous and far more freely than we are here. And
Can't
if
you
they
just
are
use
not...
a spell to notify those in Gelen?
Magic in messaging to Gelen is not that easy, unfortunately. A long while ago, after the cataclysm, a sensory barrier was put up so that the mages of Gelen would not be interfered with by our mages here. However, if mages of Gelen are doing these things, then their leaders need to know. I happen to be quite familiar with one of the leaders there. A Siror Ozen. Who is one who is very fond of trading magical artifacts back and forth between our areas. While he is not on the Council of Mages, or the Council of the Nine, Council of the Seven, got my numbers mixed up. He does have some hold over things in that area.
Why do they need to be involved? Why does that shit stain of a country need to be involved in this?
Like I said, they are far more free and less regulated in their experiments. And if you think that these experiments have been happening here, I can only imagine what things have been happening in Gelen at this point.
Okay, so you would like us to go to Gelen and inform them of our discoveries?
Yes, and that
Okay,
is not a popular opinion around here.
Mm-hmm. So we need to do it discreetly.
Correct. In fact, if
Do we-
Jared saw you doing this, he would probably set you on fire immediately.
So we don't have your seal of approval on this mission.
This conversation did not happen.
Okay, so we get in touch with this friend of yours and then try and get a meeting with the Council of Seven and then just tell them everything, or is there certain things that we leave out, or
They
how do we
simply
approach
believe
this?
us?
Well, we do have a 4.5-second snippet recording of something. I don't know what good it'll do, but
They likely won't believe us.
that was my concern, was communicating the intensity of the situation.
Only people who see the phenomenon truly understand what this means.
I'm sure, though I'm not certain, that they have mages who are able to look into your minds and see what you have seen. Whether they believe that is another thing, as planted memories are quite easy to accomplish as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine sneaking a Galen mage into the bulwark to see it for himself would be a bit impractical.
Suicidal, I would say.
Seems about right.
Is there anything we can take from you to your friend so that he at least knows we're legit?
Siror will know you're coming.
Okay.
I have my ways at that much.
Is he in the capital?
Unfortunately, that I don't know. He is one who likes to travel. A lot.
I have my ways.
Lately,
Brennan,
he's
I
been
believe.
finding himself in the Manarot deserts, a decent amount to the south. But asking around might be your best bet. He gets around a lot, we'll say.
Brennan, I have a feeling if we were to do this, we need to lose the bulwark.
Yeah, we will.
Long shot, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
In all of my travels and all of my time, is there any chance I've heard of this person, Soror Ozin, in any kind of capacity?
I'll say make a history check.
Okay. What's my history? 15.
The name sounds familiar.
Okay.
As someone who deals with stories and things, you've seen his name associated with like finding things and like
My best interpretation is it's like at various performances that we may have put on in Gellin, it's like a league of court mages or of elite mages is coming tonight, and Soror Ozin is amongst one of the group,
yeah,
and from there I heard what he does. And
yeah, it's kind of like you sang a song about Ragnar the Red, like that level of like, hey, this dude did a neat thing one time, and that's about the most you've heard.
I'll be right back.
Do I have any image to associate? Not that it'd be hard to come by, but
mostly just song about him.
Okay. Turn to Elise. Could you conjure some sort of visage for us to recognize him by?
Whoop. Pulls up image. Let me pull up a description really quick. See if I have one here. Older figure is a elf. So his age does not sort of wear on him, but you can definitely tell he's been around. He's got very long eyebrows that stick out very far. He's not in any robes. He's at least conjures him in an image where he is wearing more like adventuring gear, or what you would even see for like an archaeological dig. Like very backpack, slacks, and loose shirt and things. Very long ears as well. But yeah.
Cool. Got an image in my mind now.
Mm-hmm. Now, as a personal favor, if you do not mention my relationship with Zoror, I will not mention the fact that you stole from the Court of Mages. Do we have a deal?
Mention that relationship to who? The people here?
And let it be known that if you do for some reason just hand out the information about anything we've talked about, I have the capacity to shut off every synapse in your brain if I so chose, leaving you paralyzed on the bed for the rest of your life. Do I make myself clear?
Didn't know we were back in school, but sure.
Yes.
I'm not happy about needing to rely on others. But you seem to be the most expendable ones here at this point. So, make your arrangements to travel to Gellin. And I will see you once you come back.
While we're here, and we're talking about our friend pointing towards Orin, what did you find when you interrogated the body?
What do you mean?
You could communicate with the dead, correct? Why else would you need the body?
Oh, I was not in charge of that. That was more Gerard's inclination. But
Is he aware that it was us, or is it just you?
he's aware that something is not right. But he cannot read minds the same way I can. Your surface thoughts are all known to me.
Well, if we could ask for one more thing for this trek that we're about to be on, if we even make it back, please find out that information for us.
If you're very attached to it, then I guess I will.
What's there to lose? We might not even make it back.
Strangely, I'm hoping you do, because we'll have a lot more problems on our hands if you don't. Now, let's... You away. I'm resting. And she draws that same line in the air and opens up to the holding cell again. Out.
Start to leave, and then I'll turn back as I'm leaving. Do you know what happened to me?
I can only read surface thoughts. And if you don't know, then I won't. If you don't remember, then I cannot help you, I'm afraid. I don't know your curse or blessing or whatever.
I'll leave.
Okay.
Before I walk out, I linger. I'm like the last one to leave. But then I walk out.
Okay. You all leave, and you feel just a slight gust of air as the doors close themselves. The mages are the same. There's been no change in time. It took the same time that you guys were there to finish that, so no wonky time things there. What are you gonna do?
I think the first thing would be to find different armor that doesn't have bulwark on it.
Would Ronald question why you just disappear off on a trip on your own without checking in? May need to ask for some leave away from stressful circumstances or something.
That can be arranged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we got non-bulwark related
For our trip in the...
clothing and armor from the last place we
Yep,
were
you got
at.
it from the fort.
I didn't realize we kept that.
I'd assume you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Then we don't need to do that.
Gear up, get some goods. How far away is Gellin from here? Like weeks,
Gellin
months?
depends on which directions you want to take.
Mm-hmm.
They said south towards the desert.
Yeah, the Mana Rot Desert, that's all the way south.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to take a trip over the mountains, it would take... Here, I can... Hold on, share a screen. Wait, hold on. Make sure no sensitive information is showing. I'll share this screen with you. So, with that screen, you could go over the mountains and kind of end up... Each of these hexes is a week of travel.
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks to get into Gelen. The capital is right here, but you'd be going through the mountains, which would be its own level of treacherousness, depending on what you want to get to.
And we aren't really friends with the people in the mountain.
What do you mean?
The king of the mountain.
That's true. That would, though the king of the mountain was
Right.
up to the north right here.
I don't
where
think
the
we can see your
tower is.
cursor.
Yeah, we can't see your cursor.
Oh, you can't. Heck, wait.
Mm-hmm.
The king of the mountain was like at the top hex above the capital of Talstadt.
Like
Over
where
that
the
area?
tower is, kinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
kind of where the
Okay.
text was. That's more where the king of the mountain was.
I mean, he
Gotcha.
also seemed like it was could feel all over, not just at that one spot, though.
Mm-hmm. With that, heck. Everything's breaking. It's fine. We're still recording? We're good. We're good. We're still good. All right. So, with that plan, what things we'll kind of do a little bit of planning and then we'll probably stop here. What things are you going to kind of get? By the way, on your return, you didn't get paid for your journey. You receive 300 gold each for your journey back and forth, as well as helping out with the situation with Nathan and things like that. So, what supplies or things would you like to get for the mountain journey? Or we could also just like cut this stream off, cut the recording, and then you guys could do a little bit of your own like looking into things and kind of message me later and kind of come in with all your stuff at the beginning of our next section.
Depending on how much time we're spending here, the 300 was from the bulwark, right?
Yes.
I'll give 100 to each of you.
Nice.
Oh.
Thanks, Prim.
Is there a reason why you don't like to keep gold on you?
I don't.
You've deserved this.
It's not the gold itself. No offense, it's where it comes from. I'm uncomfortable with big operations. It's a personal thing.
I feel that on a national level.
Sir DM,
Yes.
what does pricing look like for some, like, what do you want to see as the de facto?
Is the player's handbook the general?
I'd
Yeah,
say
that
player's
amount.
handbook is a general hand amount. We could stop here and you guys can kind of look through some stuff.
Did we keep the
there a
warm clothes
magic
from up
shop?
north too?
There is some magic and potion shops as well. Keep in mind that the magic things will not be like super like you won't
They're
get the
level
rare
4.
stuff. Yeah, like uncommon probably at most, no rare or legendary things. So, if you
Are you saying free reign to pick and choose any uncommon and common magical items? Don't tempt me now.
I will say we could have a time skip a little bit of like a week of preparations, which would allow anyone who's like enchanting time to like build whatever things or enchant whatever things you need for your purposes. So I'm gonna stop.
I'd also
recording.
like.
Wait.
Did we keep the warm clothes that we
Bye.
used up in the cold?
Thank you for watching Swing and a Crit and Miss. If you liked it, give us a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and we hope we'll see you next time. See ya!